Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I thought I would show you my updated night routine for many different reasons. Number one, you guys requested it, you've been asking for it. And number two, I've just looked back and I haven't done a night routine video in over 2 years. I feel like time has flown by, and I've also realised this is the first night routine video I've ever done since living in the cottage. I've done a few different morning routines, but I haven't actually done a night routine. So a lot has changed, a lot to update you on. So first off, I thought we would start off with me riding Joey, because we've got into a routine lately of me riding him just before he goes to bed. So much so that if I ride him basically any time in the afternoon, he will just want to go back into his stable after I've ridden him. It's so funny. I'll start leading him out to the paddock and he'll kind of look at me, turn around and be like, no, it's bedtime now, it's time for my dinner. Anyway, on this particular evening, I decided to do some pole work with him. Here we have some poles on a curve, which is so good for him. We can really work on our balance. It really engages his hind end. He finds it a little trickier in canter, so we still need to work on that to get a little bit more balanced. But anyway, after I have ridden him, it's then time to make sure that I give him a good cool down, especially as he will be going to his stable after I've finished cooling him off. He also loves cuddles, scratchies, all the pats. As you guys know, he also has this kind of routine of as soon as I've taken his bridle off, he knows that it's scratchy time. We even have a dedicated Joey towel in the wash bay just for kind of wiping him off after I've ridden him, because he just loves a face scratch. Sometimes he likes to scratch into the towel. Anyway, once I've done that, it's then time to get him untacked. Joey also really needs to be clipped at the moment, so that is a job for next week. He is getting a little bit hairy. Because Joey was a little bit sweaty after our ride, I decided to put his cooler on rather than his turnout rug back on, just because it's a little bit more breathable, so he can dry off a little bit and still be nice and warm. Then, talking about staying warm, I then put my jacket on, because you best believe after I've ridden I always get really chilly. Also my ears, I am one of those people where my ears just always end up so cold, so of course I had to put on my bobble hat. Then it was time to get Caspian, who walks at absolute snail's pace. Casper likes to do everything in the slow lane, and then of course he gets some head scratches as well. Joey also always likes to be on the lookout, even though he has food, haylage, his dinner. He likes to watch all the other horses come in just to make sure that they don't get any extra treats. Mickey, on the other hand, is always so excited to come in. He also loves a good little lick of my hand, normally hoovering up treat crumbs. And then last but not least, we have little Dukey, who always loves to say hello to the horses before he goes to bed. You can really see their personalities shine in this clip, because you can see Joey, he's very inquisitive, he wants to be friends, and then here you can see him being like, come on, play with me, and then Duke's like, okay, ciao. Anyway, so moves on to Mickey, has a little look. Mickey is more interested in his food, does not care about Duke. He's like, Duke, I've played with you all day. And then Casper here, Casper is not the biggest fan of Duke. Duke tries, he's trying his best to be friends, and Casper's just like, no, you're in my personal space. This is my stable, do not get near it. So anyway, he's getting better with Duke, he's getting better. And then of course, I feel like I've done this so many times in today's video, but more scratchies. Duke's special scratchy spot is actually like on his chest here. He always does what I call his llama face, where he kind of just is like, oh my gosh, that is my favourite scratchy spot. He tries to sometimes scratch you back, which is very, very cute. He's like, if you're scratching me, I want to scratch you. He also loves a little kiss on his snoot as well. Like, he is just the cutest little guy. Once all the horses are in, I then just make sure that their lights are all switched off, that their doors are all closed properly, because tell you what, the horses can be little escape artists. And then it's time to clean my tack, that I try to do most evenings. Sometimes I do this before getting the horses in, sometimes it's afterwards, because on this night it was getting a little bit dark. I thought I'd better get the horses in before they get too upset, because I tell you what, if they're late for their dinner, they are not happy. They will let you know, they get sassy. So once my saddle is all clean, I put his cover on and then lock up the tack room. And of course, I obviously have to give the horses more treats before bedtime. Always make sure they have the same amount, because you know what? It's got to be fair between the 4 of them. Also, at this time, I'll check up on Toby, I'll put the chickens in, and just make sure all of the animals are good, they're all okay. day, and then it's time to walk down to the office. Normally before I go home, I'll try and get a little bit more of editing, admin, officey kind of things done, and normally when it's time to leave, it is dark outside because here in the UK the clocks have changed. It is basically dark from very early in the evening, but it's not all doom and gloom because I do actually quite like the dark evenings. It means that you have an excuse to go inside, to get all cozy, to have a chilled evening, and you don't feel guilty about it. And also in the UK we have some lovely long summer evenings. Then it's time to drive to the cottage. It's a very short commute, literally down the road, and I also have a very exciting box from Ideal here with me that I'll be opening in a little bit. But anyway, once I've got into the cottage, I always take my boots off because they're often very muddy. I do not want to be walking around bringing mud everywhere I go. I'm also that sort of person where as soon as I get in from being outside, I like to take my outside clothes off. So I normally go straight into the shower, have a good scrub, because with horses, it's normally quite a muddy, messy job. And actually on this particular evening, I was going out with the girls for dinner. So instead of getting changed into my usual pajamas, I actually put on a dress, I did my hair, I did my makeup. Does anybody else find it so much fun getting ready? I love it. I love being a girl. But no outfit is complete without some beautiful jewellery, and that's why I'm so grateful to say that in today's video I've partnered up with Ideal, who have sent me this beautiful box with their stunning jewellery inside. Ideal's jewellery is made of lab-grown diamonds that by sight and science are no different to the mined ones, apart from being kinder to the planet by using less of the Earth's energy, and are at an accessible price point for real diamonds. One of my favourite parts is the modularity, as you can create many different looks, meaning you get two for the price of one. They also use 100% traceable 14 karat solid gold that will not oxidise or discolour, so it can withstand everyday wear. If you'd like to find out more about Ideal's versatile and high quality jewellery, then I'll leave a link in the description below. Once I've got my jacket on, my shoes on, and I'm all ready to go, it's then just lastly time to grab my bag and head out the door. I had such a lovely evening, catching up with friends, eating good food, and once the evening was done, it was then time for me to head to the horses. Because yes, even though I'm all dressed up, I've had a lovely night out with the girls, the horses still need their bedtime dinner. So after a quick wardrobe change at my mum and dad's house into my Esme all elements coat and my wellies, it was then time to walk up to the horses. Normally, of course, it's dark at this point, so I have my phone torch on, but luckily the stables does have lighting, and often when I do turn the lights on, all of the horses do this thing that I call blinky blinky, where basically they just all blink loads. I always feel really bad turning the lights on, but often they're actually very happy to see me because they get their second dinner, and of course they get some kisses as well. Night checks are so important for many different reasons. Number one, horses are trickle feeders, so it means they need to eat little but often, so I make sure that they all have ad lib haylage at all times. I also like to check all of their water buckets to make sure that nobody has been extra thirsty and has run out of water, especially Mickey, as he has Cushing's disease. I often find he drinks a little bit more than the other horses. Also, when I go into his stable to put his haylage net up, I always have to make sure that I've properly locked his stable door, because this little guy, he is an escape artist. Out of all the horses, he's probably most likely to escape. One of the other reasons why night checks are so important this time of year is because colic is very common, especially as we're going into the winter. We're getting a few more cold snaps, so I make sure that all of the horses have eaten their haylage, they've eaten their dinner, that they're all doing well, that they have their normal cheeky behaviour, especially Duke here, who of course it's not bedtime without giving him some bedtime scratchies, and of course he's also giving me some scratchies back because he's like, if you're scratching me, then you know I'll give you a little back massage as well. I mean, I don't know how much he was actually doing, but he was trying his best, and that's all that matters. He also gave me a few kisses as well, which is very sweet. He is definitely one of the most cuddly ponies I have ever met in my entire life. If you didn't know, Duke is our rescue pony from World Horse Welfare, and he was taken into their care when he was only a few days old, so it's safe to say that he kind of thinks of humans a little bit like his mum. I also took a few selfies with Casper to put on my socials, because you guys always love to see what the horse is getting up to, what's going on, so go and follow me on there. Anyway, here I'm just doing Mickey's water. As I said before, out of all the horses. He likes to drink the most. Also, looking at his stable door, it's just made me realise I should probably get him a new stable plate. This boy, he's not allowed nice things. He is the destroyer. Him and Joey, between the two of them, the amount of like buckets and things I've got through, they like to destroy things. Anyway, then it's time to roll up the hose pipe, turn off all the lights, make sure that everyone's all settled for the night, and then it's time to head back into my mum and dad's house, quickly change back into the shoes and jacket that I was wearing before, head into my car, and then it's time to finally drive home. When I get in, I often always get changed straight into my pajamas. I like to have like my cozy cottage clothes on as soon as possible. I also like to grab myself a glass of water to put by my bed, and then it's time to take off my makeup and do my skincare. This is one thing that I make sure that I do every single evening, especially as I'm a dry skin girly, so I always make sure that I put my moisturiser on as well, because especially this time of year, going into the cold, going into the winter, it can really dry your face out, and I spend a lot of time outside as well. So once I've done all my skincare and brushed my teeth, I like to read a little bit on my Kindle, and that's the end of my night routine. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, please check out Ideal in the description, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!